Coming up, a suspect is in custody tonight after yesterday's Nelsonville bank robbery. We have the latest. And more tonight on the tragedy in Vegas. We have more on the investigation. And in sports, one MLB star has his sights set on something bigger than the World Series. Newswatch starts right now.
Broadcasting live from WOUB TV in Athens, this is Newswatch.
A suspect in yesterday's robbery of the People's Bank in Nelsonville is in custody. Good evening, I'm Michaela Marshall. Thanks for joining us. 19-year-old Kyle Alexander Jones appeared in the Athens County Municipal Court today. This was after Jones was taken into custody at about 9:30 a.m. Police say Jones slid the teller a note and fled on foot with an undisclosed amount of money, but no weapon was shown. MPD does not believe this robbery is connected to any of the other area robberies. His bail was set to $100,000 during the arraignment, and the preliminary hearing is scheduled for October 9th. Authorities are still working to bring in one of the men who allegedly robbed the Hocking Valley Bank. Shane Harley Cavan and Jason Robert Lewis II were both charged by an Athens County grand jury with one count of felony robbery. County prosecutor Keller Blackburn says Lewis is not yet in custody. Cavan was arrested while visiting a hospital in Columbus Friday. Blackburn says Cavan is set to appear in Athens County Common Pleas Court for a preliminary hearing on October 11th. In the meantime, Athens police are still searching for the suspect involved in the Citizens Bank robbery on Stimson Avenue almost 2 weeks ago. The suspect entered the bank and jumped the counter, threatening employees with what appeared to be a dark-colored handgun. After taking the money, the suspect fled to the bank on foot. The suspect is a white male of medium build, around 5'6". He was last seen wearing a hat, sunglasses, and carrying a zipper bank bag. APD asked anyone with new information regarding the robbery to call the department at 740-592-3315. According to the annual security report released by the Ohio University Police Department, reports of rape and stalking are on the rise on Athens campus. Rape reports have increased 60% from 2015 to 2016, and reports of stalking have increased by 200% from 8 incidents in 2015 to 24 incidents in 2016. On the other hand, dating violence reports have decreased from 23 reports in 2015 to 9 reports in 2016. The annual report is mandated by the Clery Act, a federal law that forces all college campuses to disclose crime statistics and security measures. Athens residents expressed their opposition to the City Council's involvement in discussions on the proposed mega school in yesterday's City Council meeting. Residents were concerned that the council is not working enough with the Athens City School District, as well as proposed schools' impact on transportation and the needs for kids with disabilities. Council President Christine Nisley, who voted in the tiebreaker to postpone a resolution, said the council is looking forward to working alongside students and residents.
Public education in the city. So
to say what's going to make the citizens happy. I think Citizen Council was just trying to make sure that the process is inclusive. And I think the citizens who came last night were also saying much the same thing, that they want to ensure that they have equitable learning situations for all of our students.
The council decided to postpone the resolution indefinitely, looking forward to a more definite plan. Athens is being called upon by the city auditor to join a lawsuit being filed against the state of Ohio. Within the new Ohio budget bill that was passed, the state is given authority to collect local business income taxes and charge municipalities for this service. City Auditor Kathy Hecht warns this is the first step towards the state taking over all income tax. Mayor Steve Patterson says it's expected over 100 cities and villages will join in on the lawsuit. 3 years ago, the West Union Fire displaced students and forced businesses to relocate and even close their doors for good. Now Union Street is thriving and one local business is moving back uptown. Natasha Neal, co-owner of Jack Neal Floral, is excited to display her flowers in the window of her new shop on Union Street once again.
Walk-in traffic when we were hoping that, and I really am not sure that we don't get it here because of the fire. I would say it's more so the location. So that's where we are really pumped, hoping that everything will go back to the way it was, being back uptown again.
Jack Neal Floral is expected to open on November 1st, located at 15 West Union, the former location of Hoffa's Records.
Good evening from the Newswatch Weather Center. I'm Jordan Vanacek here with your forecast. Looking currently at the Athens area, mostly sunny skies, temperatures around 80 degrees. Wind speed is around 3 miles per hour out of the south, and pressure is high, fortunately for our area, at 30.40 inches and steady. Dew point's at 50 degrees with a humidity of 35%, making it feel really comfortable outside. Still a little on the warm side. Looking at tonight for our hour by hour, 58 degrees by 8 p.m. With clear skies, continuing that trend into 12 a.m. and 4 a.m., getting down to 54 and then actually down to 51 by 4 a.m. It's going to be a cool night, and I would definitely bring those jackets if you plan to be outdoors overnight.
Thank you, Jordan. I'm glad it's finally going to start feeling like fall.
Yes, definitely. Hopefully that trend will continue. I'm glad we're out of the hot weather.
Yeah, me too. I'm looking forward to your extended forecast. Thank you, Jordan. An Ohio public school superintendent is suspended without pay after pulling down the pants of a school board member. Video footage shows Maple Heights Superintendent Charles Keenan pulling down the pants of the school board vice president at a football game. School board president Pamela Cruz says Keenan is suspended for 10 days and he has issued an apology. The leader of Cincinnati Police Union says opioid addicts should be forced into treatment because they endanger officers. A Cincinnati officer searching a suspect was exposed to an unknown powdery substance that sent him to the hospital. The substance was likely fentanyl. He will recover, but this is the third such case involving a Cincinnati officer in 2 months. Fall wildfire season is underway. State officials say most of the fires are preventable. It is illegal to do any open burning within 150 feet of any woodland or brushland between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. during the fire hazard seasons, which run from now until about December 15th and from February 15th to April 30th. Last season, 70 people were given citations for illegal burning, and 14 were arrested and charged with setting fires. Investigators are still searching for the Las Vegas shooter's motive while new details are being released. These stories and more when Newswatch returns.
University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
Hey everybody, I'm Gridiron Glory host Joseph Payton. Every Friday night live at 11:30, we will have a jam-packed show for you with everything that went down on the local gridiron that night. From every touchdown pass to every crushing hit, Gridiron Glory is your #1 source for all things Southeast Ohio football. So please be sure to tune into our show and also follow us on Twitter and Snapchat at Gridiron Glory, and of course like us on Facebook. I promise you won't want to miss out, because remember, there's nothing better than Friday nights and Gridiron Glory.
I knew that I wanted to come to Ohio University from the very first time I visited here.
There's something about the campus that grabs you.
It was really comforting.
Very welcoming.
It's one thing to write down your name and your GPA and that kind of stuff and send it in. It's another thing entirely to be here and see how great it is.
The campus here is just electric.
Absolutely gorgeous. Everything just looked really college-like.
I looked at my mom and I said, "This is it." And she said, "The tour's just started." I said, "No, you don't understand. This is it."
My professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open.
You can go to them with pretty much anything.
Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like I'm having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us.
Death toll has risen to 59 tonight as more than 527 others were left injured in the largest mass shooting in U.S. history. The Clark County Sheriff says the shooter had cameras set up inside and outside of his hotel room at the Mandalay Bay Resort. Police believe Stephen Paddock killed himself before they could enter his room, ending the massacre. Police found at least 19 firearms, explosives, several thousand rounds of ammunition in his home in Mesquite, Nevada. 5 handguns, 2 shotguns, and a plethora of ammunition were all found at the shooter's home in Reno.
We have identified all but 3 victims. We still have an active scene at the grounds near Mandalay Bay, so we ask anyone to stay away from that area until further notice. The FBI is working diligently to clear that scene.
Police are not aware whether the devices were transmitting. The FBI is investigating their use, but the Clark County Sheriff told reporters he thinks the shooter might have used them to watch for people approaching his room. An Ohio woman who was at Sunday night's Route 91 concert in Las Vegas says she is in shock and disbelief, not knowing if she would make it out alive. She started recording as she and her husband tried to escape. Paul Kiska reports.
Akron's Angela Rose and her husband Aaron were at the concert in Las Vegas when the shooting started. Petrified they would be trampled by the panicked and fleeing crowd, at first they lay down on the ground in their bleacher seats. Then she started recording on her cell phone.
We think the gunfire is happening on the strip, but we're not sure. So much. And we hear gunfire.
We heard a few pops, a few pop sounds, and we thought it was firecrackers. And all of a sudden, the firing started becoming more rapid. Next thing, it was pop, 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 pop.
Rose said initial reports had the number of casualties low, but when she heard dozens of people were killed, she was sickened.
I still am in shock. I can't believe it happened. Hearing gunfire like that is something that I've only heard on television in fictional movies and TV shows. To hear it in real life is surreal.
Her heart goes out to the victims and their families.
I'm in disbelief that someone would do something so evil and, on innocent people that are just there to have a good time, having the greatest weekend of their lives, and just to ruin it like that and ruin lives is just unimaginable to me.
The gunman, 64-year-old Stephen Paddock of Mesquite, Nevada, later died from what authorities call a self-inflicted gunshot wound. President Trump praised the quick response of law enforcement officials and first responders. When asked about the shooter, the president had this to say.
He was a sick man, a demented man, a lot of problems, I guess, and we're looking into him very, very seriously, but we're dealing with a very, very sick individual.
After facing backlash for a slow federal response to Hurricane Maria, President Trump has seen firsthand the devastation in Puerto Rico today. Natasha Chen is in San Juan with the latest.
President Trump is on the ground in Puerto Rico, touting the federal response as he visits the storm-ravaged island for the first time.
Everybody around this table and everybody watching can really be very proud of what's taken place in Puerto Rico.
But nearly 2 weeks after the devastating strike by Hurricane Maria, many, especially in remote areas, are still struggling without food, water, or power.
All federal agencies are working tirelessly, but we all recognize that we need to do a lot more.
Puerto Rico's Governor Ricardo Rosselló is hoping the president's visit will lead to an increase in federal aid.
As the president flies over the island, I think it's inescapable to see what the damage has been done in Puerto Rico. We've calculated that the damage of the storm is extensive. And what we want is from that aid package to receive the funding that is consistent with the damage.
The focus now for Puerto Ricans is working together toward recovery. Joan Medil Caban helped connect a cancer patient with a private flight out of Puerto Rico.
I was just one little piece of a bunch of people in the community trying to help her and others get out to safety.
While Caban says her volunteer group still hasn't heard from some living inland, she has seen evidence of resilience in her own community.
Every day, consecutively for the past 9 evenings, believe it or not, all of the neighbors that have any kind of instrument will come out into one of the main plazas and they will start to play their instruments.
In San Juan, I'm Natasha Chen reporting.
Rock and roll legend Tom Petty passed away yesterday, a reflection on his accomplishments. That story's still ahead.
And it's been beautiful these past several days, and that trend will continue tomorrow. However, rain is in the forecast for the latter part of the week. I'll let you know when exactly it will arrive and how long it will last on your 7-day forecast next on Newswatch.
Professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open.
You can go to them with pretty much anything.
Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like I'm having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us.
Ohio University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
I knew that I wanted to come to Ohio University from the very first time I visited here.
There's something about the campus that grabs you.
It was really comforting.
Very welcoming.
It's one thing to write down your name and your GPA and that kind of stuff and send it in. It's another thing entirely to be here and see how great it is.
The campus here is just electric.
Absolutely gorgeous. Everything just looked really college-like.
I looked at my mom and I said, "This is it." And she said, "The tour's just started." I said, "No, you don't understand. This is it."
Hey everybody, I'm Gridiron Glory host Joseph Payton. Every Friday night live at 11:30, we will have a jam-packed show for you with everything that went down on the local gridiron that night. From every touchdown pass to every crushing hit, Gridiron Glory is your #1 source for all things Southeast Ohio football. So please be sure to tune into our show and also follow us on Twitter and Snapchat at Gridiron Glory, and of course like us on Facebook. I promise you won't want to miss out, because remember, there's nothing better than Friday nights and Gridiron Glory.
From the Newswatch Weather Center, I'm Jordan Vanacek. Looking in Athens right now, 80 degrees, mostly sunny skies, wind out of the south at 3 miles per hour. It's a beautiful evening. Dew point around 50 degrees with a humidity of around 35%, making it feel really comfortable outside, just a little on the warm side. Pressure is at 30.40 inches and steady, making it with a high pressure that's making the skies really clear. Today we hit 81 degrees, about 11 degrees above from our normal, which is 70. Record was 90 degrees set in 1951. Today our low was 40 degrees, just a couple of degrees below our normal. Record was 28 set in 1974. Sunset is in a few minutes from now. Looking at tonight, 50 degrees in Athens, mostly clear skies, a little bit chilly, so please take a jacket if you go outside tonight. Looking around tonight regionally, 48 in Newark, 49 New Lexington, 55 our warm spot, Columbus, 51 in Ironton, Jackson, and at 50, 49 in Chillicothe, and 50 in New Martinsville. Looking at our precipitcast, we do have a bit of a low pressure that has formed just north of the Great Lakes, and that will continue to move eastward. Our high pressure that is giving us that clear weather is right off the coast of the Atlantic. And then looking at tomorrow, that will continue to move, that cold front will continue to move southward and eastward. And then looking at tomorrow for our bus stop, 50 degrees at 7 a.m. Oops, sorry. Sunny weather. Grab a jacket if your kids are going to school on the bus. Wind will be calm. And then tomorrow, getting up to a high of around 81 degrees, sunny weather, clear skies. It's going to be another gorgeous day. So enjoy it, because that probably will not last. Tomorrow, sunny weather all day, getting up to around 81 by 4 p.m. And then again, same picture for tomorrow across Southeast Ohio. Temperatures in the low 80s. And then for our extended forecast, looking at some rain moving in later this week and into this weekend. It'll be a bit of a rough pattern. Chances for rain increasing Saturday into Sunday with chance for thunderstorms as well. Temperatures mainly in the upper 70s to low 80s. Michaela, back to you.
Thanks, Jordan. Rock legend Tom Petty died yesterday at age 66. He was rushed to a hospital Sunday night after being found unconscious at his Malibu home. CNN's Stephanie Elam looks back at his life.
Tom Petty's music embodied the essence of rock and roll: freedom, truth, and rebellion. With a career that spanned more than half a century, Petty was hailed by some as a musical poet.
Music, as far as I've seen in the world so far, is the only real magic that I know. Just something really honest and clean and pure, and it touches you in your heart.
Petty grew up in Gainesville, Florida during the 1950s. He met the King, Elvis Presley, on a movie set when he was just 11 years old. That was the moment, Petty says. His life was forever changed, and he became hooked on rock and roll. By 1974, Petty's Gainesville band, Mudcrutch, was California-bound. The country rock quintet landed a record deal in L.A. I live on the west side. Mudcrutch disbanded a short time later, and in 1975, Petty formed a new band that included 2 other Mudcrutch originals.
I really think I'm in one of the best rock and roll bands in the world.
Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers became pioneers of the Heartland rock movement. Their straightforward rock and roll sound and unpretentious lyrics generated a string of hits and catapulted the band into international fame. Breakdown. Breakdown, honey, take me through the night. Don't Do Me Like That. Don't do me like that. Refugee. And The Waiting. Later, as a solo act, Petty's Southern-influenced sound brought a new wave of success, Free Fallin'. I Won't Back Down. No, I won't back down. And You Don't Know How It Feels. In 1985, Petty's quirky persona found a new outlet, music television. He played the Mad Hatter in Don't Come Around Here No More, and years later, a mortician in Mary Jane's Last Dance.
Good evening. Good evening, I'm Mitchell Lyons. Despite the tragedy in Las Vegas, one player is a hero. We'll tell you his story. And we recap how the Kansas City Chiefs stayed perfect next on Newswatch.
Buddy, I'm Gridiron Glory host Joseph Payton. Every Friday night, live at 11:30, we will have a jam-packed show for you with everything that went down on the local gridiron that night. From every touchdown pass to every crushing hit, Gridiron Glory is your #1 source for all things Southeast Ohio football. So please be sure to tune into our show and also follow us on Twitter and Snapchat at Gridiron Glory, and of course like us on Facebook. I promise you won't want to miss out, because remember, there's nothing better than Friday nights and Gridiron Glory.
Ohio University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
My professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open.
You can go to them with pretty much anything.
Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like I'm having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us.
I knew that I wanted to come to Ohio University from the very first time I visited here.
There's something about the campus that grabs you.
It was really comforting.
Very welcoming.
It's one thing to write down your name and your GPA GPA and that kind of stuff and send it in. It's another thing entirely to be here and see how great it is.
The campus here is just electric.
Absolutely gorgeous. Everything just looked really college-like.
I looked at my mom and I said, this is it. And she said, the tour's just started. I said, no, you don't understand. This is it.
Welcome back. I'm Mitchell Lyons. The Kansas City Chiefs head into next week's Sunday night matchup against the Houston Texans undefeated. The Chiefs stayed perfect thanks to a 29-20 victory over the Washington Redskins last night. Kareem Hunt and the Chiefs got off to a slow start offensively and trailed 10-7 heading into the half. Kansas City took the lead on their first drive of the third quarter thanks to rookie kicker Harrison Butker, and they never looked back. Butker hit 3 field goals throughout the remainder of the game to give Kansas City's defense a 23-20 lead with less than a minute to play. From there, Justin Houston handled it. The Chiefs' star defensive end scooped up a fumble from Chris Thompson and scored the end zone to seal, giving the Chiefs the victory. The Chiefs head into next week's matchup playing the Texans while the Redskins enjoy their bye week. Tonight starts the playoffs for Major League Baseball. The New York Yankees and Minnesota Twins face off for a date with the Cleveland Indians in the American League Division Series. During the regular season, Irvin Santana had a 16-8 record and an ERA around 3.3. Luis Severino is on the hill for the Yankees. Severino posted a 14-6 record for the Bronx Bombers and had an ERA just below 3. Superstar Aaron Judge is ready for the real season to begin.
That's what it's all about, postseason baseball. You know, the regular season now, it's kind of like spring training's over. You know, this is the regular season now. This is what it's all about. This is where, you know, a lot of those numbers that are hanging out there in left field, this is where they made a name for themselves in the postseason.
This is the first postseason game for Judge. The Yankees won the regular season series over the Twins 4-2. First pitch is set for 8 o'clock and the game can be seen on ESPN. It won't be Corey Kluber starting Game 1 for the American League Division Series for the Indians. Instead, it's Trevor Bauer, just like last year. In last year's Game 1 against the Boston Red Sox, Bauer went 4 2/3 innings, giving up 3 runs. However, he picked up the win in that game. The Cy Young favorite Kluber will start Game 2 and, if necessary, Game 5. Carlos Carrasco will start Game 3, and Josh Tomlin will pitch Game 4 if necessary. A Milwaukee Brewers pitching prospect is being recognized for saving lives in Las Vegas. Bubba Derby saved 2 lives on Sunday. The 23-year-old was attending the concert with his friends and family where the shooting took place. Derby used his body to shield 2 girls. The 2 girls have since found Derby on Facebook and thanked him for his heroism, according to the Bleacher Report. It will no longer be East against West in the NBA All-Star Game. The selection process will remain the same, however, but the 2 leading vote getters will be captains and will pick their squads. The game in recent years has not been as competitive and no defense has been played. Last year's game featured 369 points. In an effort to try and make the game more competitive, the players will play for local charities. The game is set for February 18th and will take place in Los Angeles. I'm Mitchell Lyons, and that's it for sports. Let's get one final look at the weather. Jordan?
Thank you, Mitchell. Yeah, looking at temperatures tonight, around 50, upper 40s across the region, except Columbus, which is 55. Looking at our temperatures tonight in Athens, 50 degrees, mostly clear skies, a little chilly. Again, bring a jacket if you are going outside. And then our 7-day forecast, things are looking nice tomorrow. Not getting much better when you go into the rest of the week. Back to you, Michaela.
Thanks, Jordan. And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Michaela Marshall. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime at WOUB.org. Have a great night.
Buddy, I'm Gridiron Glory host Joseph Payton. Every Friday night, live at 11:30, we will have a jam-packed show for you with everything that went down on the local gridiron that night. From every touchdown pass to every crushing hit, Gridiron Glory is your #1 source for all things Southeast Ohio football. So please be sure to tune into our show and also follow us on Twitter and Snapchat at Gridiron Glory, and of course like us on Facebook. I promise you won't want to miss out, because remember, there's nothing better than Friday nights and Gridiron Glory.